Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. The prejudging for the 2022 Yamamoto Pro Cup in France just wrapped up. Now, this was supposed to be an interesting show because one of the things that we were going to get to see was a James Hollingshead and Patrick Johnson rematch from the Arnold Classic UK. Patrick obviously was second in UK, and James was third. And James was originally on the competitor list for this show, but James Hollingshead did not show up. So that's why in this initial, this is the first call out right here. That's why you don't see James. He was not at this show. Now, the other thing that was interesting here was Lionel Beyeke. This was supposed to be his big comeback show. He's from France. This show was in France. He hasn't been able to compete for a while because of visa issues. We'll talk about him in a minute. He was here, but he was not in the conversation at all, and he was not in this first call out, as you can see. So the main story of this prejudging wound up being Patrick Johnson and Marc Hector, who also competed in the Arnold Classic UK and was also a top finisher. Jamie Jahal, the Giant, was also in that first call out here. But they were mostly comparing Marc and Hector in that first call-out was what I noticed, and that was validated by the fact that at the very end of prejudging, they did a top two call-out of just Marc and Patrick. So if you don't know who these guys are, Patrick is the guy on the left in the black trunks, Marc is the guy on the right in the blue trunks. I think, honestly, both these guys looked better. They both looked sharper to me at the Arnold Classic UK than they looked here. Patrick especially, I think he was a lot sharper at the Arnold UK. Peaked a lot better for that show. And I think in this call out of the top two, it's kind of an apples and oranges comparison because of the fact that I think Marc, one of the things that makes him so good is the aesthetic appeal of his physique. He's got a very, very impressive V-taper. Not the biggest guy and clearly not the most conditioned guy at either of these past two shows. But Patrick, a little bit more muscle, not as aesthetic. I think the reason Patrick is going to win this show, and that's my prediction that Patrick is going to win this Yamamoto Pro, he's slightly tighter than Marc. Again, he doesn't look as good as he looked at the Arnold Classic UK, but I think he's just tight enough to edge out Marc here. It looks like it's a pretty close comparison, though, to be completely honest. I think it's certainly closer between the two of them here than it was at the Arnold Classic UK. This Yamamoto Pro is an interesting one because, like I said, it was kind of supposed to be an Arnold Classic UK rematch for James and Patrick, but I think there is a chance that Marc could pull out the victory here. If he tightens up for finals, I think he's got a shot at winning this. But right now, I think Patrick is definitely, he's in the lead for sure after prejudging. My prediction after prejudging would be that Patrick would win. But this could end up being a pretty big story for Marc Hector. If Marc Hector pulls off the win here by tightening up, he needs to tighten up at finals. And that could be his Olympia qualification by winning this Yamamoto Pro. Now, let's talk about Lionel Beyeke for a second, because like I said, we were kind of looking forward to seeing his return. He's committed to like half a dozen shows over the past couple of years since we last saw him on stage. And pretty much every single show he's been on the competitor list for, he hasn't been able to compete for whatever reason. He says it's visa issues, which I guess was not an issue here because it was in France. But he was not in the conversation. Like I said, he was very, very off. He was not in the first call-out. He was in the second call-out, and they moved him to the outside of that second call-out, meaning he's probably looking at 7th or 8th here. He'd probably be lucky to get 7th. And in a lineup like this, not good for Lionel Beyeke. This is not the strongest lineup we've seen in some of these recent shows. So for Lionel to be kind of really outside that conversation of even top 6, which I don't think he really has a shot at top 6 either, not a great comeback show for Lionel. And I don't really understand why. If he was prepping for the Arnold Classic UK, honestly, to me, he looks like he's months out of this show. He looks like he's like 8 weeks out, 10 weeks out. He doesn't look like, he doesn't even look like really he prepped much for this show, which is kind of interesting to me because his name was on the Arnold Classic competitor list when that list first came out months ago. So if he was prepping for that show, theoretically, he should have had plenty of time to get ready for this France show. But to me, he was completely off. So that's kind of the wrap-up of the prejudging for the Yamamoto Pro. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe for more coverage later tonight of the final results. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.
Dancing in the good light. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. And everybody dancing in the good light. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. And everybody's dancing in the good light. Everybody's dancing